It's time to show up and show out with your live video. I recently did a live TikTok breaking down all the secrets to how you can show up confidently on camera, my best secrets to an in home studio that won't break the bank, and why visibility really is power. I'm Rashonda Pratt, known online as The Rose Show Live. Let's get into it.
Girl, I was like trying to multitask and stay
I
engaged
know it.
at the same time. Love it. Okay, this is who we've been waiting on, guys. This is who we've been waiting on. She is. I follow her on all her channels. I'm so impressed by her, and I don't say that that often.
Oh,
So
wow.
hands
Thank
down
you.
impressed by her. And I just want you to first tell them who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into a few questions.
Oh, I love it. A lot of our people on my side are like, "You're live, you're back." That's a whole other TikTok live for a whole other time. But yes, I am live. I'm known as Rashonda Pratt. But in the digital streets, I'm known as The Rose Show Live. I'm a video visibility coach and producer, helping women brands and faith-led brands to show up confidently on camera, shine their inner light, and monetize their story because your visibility is power. And I'm stoked to be here with this lady. I appropriately stalk her. I do. I'm going to go ahead and say up, but I just appropriately
I love it.
stalk this woman because I love her
I love it.
content. I love her product. I love everything that she's doing and how she's showing up in the space. So I'm glad to be here with her as well.
I am so honored. And guys, I usually hop on these lives by myself. I hadn't even thought about going live with anyone. And this is really, if you're any type of
Wow.
faith-based, feeling like you should go with your gut, I literally just dropped this on a dime with her, like what, maybe last week or week before last, and
Yeah.
was like, let's go live. And so this is my first time doing a co-host live on TikTok. This is going down in history. I have never done
I'm
this. That's why I was
honored.
over here fumbling. I was like, how do I get this? How do I get this together? So this had to be divine inspiration right here. I mean, it really had to be. So anyway, I was reading on your site. You were saying that you had the struggles that most people have with showing up and being on camera. Tell us a little bit about that and how you overcame that.
So my story starts that in the fourth grade, I was a journalist, an aspiring journalist. Um, and how this whole thing came to be in the fourth grade is because my mom and dad are from the beautiful country of Trinidad and Tobago. And I was the Yankee Doodle of the family. I was the lone American. And my dad told me, as an American citizen, it's my responsibility and duty to know what's going on in my country and my community. So my friends are watching the Smurfs. I grew up watching Tom Brokaw and Peter Jennings. And there was only one TV, my friend, and one remote, and dad had control of it. So it was always on the news. And so I fell in love with the news industry and storytelling. It wasn't until I was in high school that I discovered that you can have a job as this. You can become a journalist. And one of my friends in high school said, "Hey, you like to talk a lot. We have a campus newspaper show. You should become a reporter for the show." And that's when I found out that this is a real thing. And I've always wanted to be, the next Oprah, always. And that was my goal. I was like, okay, I want to be, I want to take over Oprah's job when she retires. But here was the thing, friend, which I think a lot of people who are watching this can understand this, is it's kind of difficult to say that you want to be on camera and you want to be in front of the camera and you have a powerful story, but yet you hate the camera. I did not like how I looked on the camera. I didn't like how I sounded on camera. It was just like watching deer in headlights. In fact, I leave a lot of those beginning videos up so people can see how horrible it was. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it was bad. I was terrible. And I had to go through this process of really learning to honor my voice, understand that my mess can become my message, that my pain can become purpose, learned that this camera is not an enemy, but to treat it like a friend. And I've also learned one of the greatest lessons in all those things that I just shared. The biggest lesson is this, that the greatest thing that you're being fought about, the greatest thing that the enemy is whispering to you is really usually the greatest thing that will provide financial breakthrough for your family. Because here's the girl who didn't like her voice, didn't like how she looked on camera, and now I'm doing commercials radio ads, and I'm being paid for this voice and this face.
I love it.
Just saying.
I absolutely love it. And if anyone is on here right now doubting themselves, you've heard it. You've heard it several times before. And I want to know how you kind of broke through that. Like, did you just start to rehearse on camera? You said you left those, videos up that you didn't like, which most people don't. I will admit, I have taken down some things because I've been like, girl, what were you doing that morning?
You've taken down some things.
I've taken down some things, made them private, because we all fall into that hole of, ooh, it didn't get enough likes, or ooh, it didn't get enough views, or maybe I was off that day. And I have learned the hard way that some of those videos that I took down, some people have come back and said, hey, you had said something and I can't find that video. You were talking about this. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's the one I took down. And they were like, I really wanted to keep that, or I really wanted to share that. And you thought you were off that day. So tell the people how they can start working through the struggles of being afraid to show up, being afraid to get on camera.
I love that example that you gave, because it speaks to and testifies to how I navigated through this. And a lot of my people on here are just like, you're back live? Yes, this is me. This is not recording. This is really live. I'm back, y'all. One of the things that I had to do is what you did. I had to focus more on the people that I was called to serve than myself. So I turned it outward. I focused more on, let's not focus on the fact that you don't like your voice. Let's not focus on the fact that you don't like how you look on camera, right? I'm going to focus on the people who want this solution, because at the end of the day, people pay for their problems to be solved. They want solutions. And I live my life as every day I wake up as someone's solution. So that's what I'm going to do. So I lived my life, and especially those early years of doing video and feeling very uncomfortable, saying to myself, no, Rashonda, you're showing up for Elisa. You're showing up for Ann. You're showing up. And I started thinking and envisioning these people that I was showing up for. And I put the focus back on them. And then the second thing is, we have a saying in our company, and it says, visibility is power. And it is. But visibility starts as an inside job. So I had to do some inner work. And you know what some of that inner work was? Healing some of the trauma, healing some of the words that were spoken over me and the words I spoke to myself. Some of it was taking time and really in my bathroom, no joke. And I still do this practice up to today. Talking to myself and listening to my voice. I literally apologized to myself one time. We're talking about showing up here on camera, teaching other women how to do this, working with companies like the Kellogg Foundation, Boeing, Vogue Me, working with my state legislator, being on Tamron Hall, the Today Show twice. I'm telling you what I did. And one of the things that I did, I talked to myself and I told myself, Rashonda, I'm sorry that I didn't honor your voice. I'm sorry for the times that I didn't speak up when I should have. I'm sorry for the times that I remained silent, because another one of our mantras in our company is, you no longer have the right to remain silent. I'm sorry for the times that I talked bad about my own voice. I'm sorry, and I apologize to you for doing that. And moving forward, I'm not going to do that anymore. I literally apologized to myself. And that was healing.
So it's doing... someone just said that healing journey is hard, that perspective shift. Just looking at some of these comments, that's powerful. Me too. I mean, we've got the right people in the room. That's a great testimony. We've got the right people that need to hear this. And if you guys are hearing something that you are loving, don't forget to share this with someone else. Share this live, tap that like, because as creators, it helps us to continue to know that, you know what, we're on the right track. We're reaching the right people. And I love what you were saying about how you had to listen to your voice. I was a motivational speaker for 10 years for a company, and I traveled all across the country, and I hate the sound of my voice. And most people would not believe that. So whenever there is a video, like when I'm on TV, I don't listen to it back. I watch it on silent. Because all I'm watching for is to make sure, you know, my hand motions are right or this was right.
Right.
I don't like the way I sound. Back to me. And TikTok has actually helped me with that. You know why? Because you have to listen to yourself so much while you're trying to answer those comments. It's just still saying the same thing. You're just hearing yourself like on overload. And I would literally turn it down because I'm like, I don't want to hear myself say that again. And one day I was so caught up in answering these comments, trying to get the people the answer they needed, that I started hearing myself differently. It didn't sound so annoying. But most people don't know that behind. They see you show up on that 15 seconds and they go, wow, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But see, this is why we have these lives, to share what's really going on. Now, I love your setup. You have one of the most amazing setups. It's always on point. Your lighting is always right, girlfriend. This hair is popping.
Thank you, sis.
These glasses are popping. I think you said one time, and I believe this was your story, and I apologize if it wasn't. You were saying how now you can afford all these different frames now, and that wasn't the case at one point. And
it wasn't the case at one point.
So, yeah. So I want you to tell the people what your setup looks like, because people, and I'll be honest with you guys right now, this lighting is popping because it's natural light. So if you don't have the funds to, if you don't have the funds to go and get these things that we're about to talk about, it's okay. Work that natural light, because if you show up and it's dim and it's sunken in, people may scroll past. Boom, you're in their face. So tell us about your setup.
So I love natural light. I actually support that over what I have, which is a ring light. So what we have done is we have transformed the whole lower floor of our home into a studio. So I actually have about 2 to 3 different sets in here. So I have a green screen over there. Beneath the green screen is another set. We have this backdrop here. When I first started doing live video, listen, it was 4x3. This space literally was like this big. If I moved over here, you would have saw my dresser because it was in my bedroom, right? So it was a 4x3 space. Now we've upgraded to like, this is about 10x19, I believe. It covers an entire wall, because sometimes I've learned, especially during the pandemic, we like to do keynote speeches and I like to stand. So it's tall enough and big enough that I can stand and I can bring other people in. People actually come in and try to use our space. It's a whole thing, right? But I want to talk to the people who don't have this, like what you said. When I started doing video, I had a white wall behind me, God's natural light in front of me, and when I opened the blinds, and a message in my heart. I upgraded to this. So don't get it twisted and think I started here. No. We started at the bottom and now we're here, okay? So we upgraded to this. And so my upgrade, I have a ring light in front of me, and I also still have natural light, okay? One of the things that we did, so we have a ring light that's, if you go, ladies, and get your makeup done, you'll probably see this ring light that your makeup artist use. It's the one on the tall pole, and it's a ring light because it lights the ring of your face, okay? I love it. The other thing that we did in our home studio, and I love that you asked this question, because I don't get a lot of times to go through all of these, and I really need to do a TikTok about this. But the other thing that we did is, because it's downstairs and it already had its own lighting, we actually went in and changed all the light bulbs. You can go to your local Lowe's and you can get light bulbs that mimic, you ready for this? Sunlight.
Yes. Girl, stop it. No.
Yes.
Okay, see, I just learned a whole... Are you kidding me right now?
I'm not kidding you. So
y'all heard that? Hey, Connie.
Yes. So it's lighting that, and I actually knew to change these light bulbs because one of my husband's friends works for Spectrum, and he was talking to me about these light bulbs, and I said, what? He's like, yeah, they mirror and mimic natural light. So all of these are not the fluorescent light bulbs. We changed all of the light bulbs in here to those lights, okay? Because I want it to be as natural and studio light. Because here's the thing, friend, I'm doing TV interviews across the country, so I need this to be on point. And I'm making content for YouTube. I'm making YouTube videos, all the things. Now, this backdrop is the star. I'm not the star. It's the backdrop. People inbox me about this backdrop all the time. They think it's virtual. They don't think it's real. Let me show you. This, okay. See, I'm touching it. It's real. Now, what do you want to do with a backdrop? This one is a vinyl photography backdrop. Vinyl versus paper. Here's the difference. When you get a paper backdrop, and it may be super affordable, $20, you can see these on Amazon. The difference between vinyl and paper is vinyl is smoother. You can roll it up. It won't get any kinks in it. It looks very smooth. It looks like wallpaper. You see that? And so when you get the paper backdrop, when you roll it up, it's going to have all those wrinkles in it, right? And that's going to show up on your video. Then you're going to try to iron that out, and then you have to toss it out because you're like, that wasn't worth it. So I tell people all the time, if you want to get a really great backdrop, do a vinyl photography. The backdrops that photographers use. Now, this one cost me about between 120 and 150. It's worth it.
But it's worth it if you do that investment, because it looks amazing.
And you can roll this up, and I can roll this up at the end. And if we move to another location and I roll it up, I'll roll it back out. It's not going to have any kinks in it. So if you're looking for a great photography backdrop, you can do vinyl. Do not get paper. Okay. Here's another trick. Never shared this, but wanted to do a TikTok on it, and I'm going to, but I have it right here. Stand by.
Okay. Hey, Connie, I see you, girl. I see you. Connie, the Google queen, is an amazing lady Connie. That does some amazing SEO. Yes. So definitely hop on over and follow her too. Yeah.
And thank you for everybody on my timeline who's here and watching. Another thing that you can do, I've tested it out once, but I am now, for the sake of this, going to do a TikTok. You can go and get fabric. This is one that I picked up literally from Walmart, and this can be your backdrop. So say you want to create a green screen in your home, and you need to do it on a budget. You can go get green fabric. As long as it's green, folks, it's going to work.
Wow.
It has to be a certain shade of green. So yellow's my favorite color, right? And so I went and bought this yellow backdrop. What you're going to do is you're going to have to iron it first. So you have to iron it really good, get all the kinks and all that stuff in, and then you're going to have to pull it really taut, and you can put this in the back of you, and that can serve as a backdrop as well.
I like that. And for my people on here that are product-based entrepreneurs, you can still use these same setups, because keep in mind, I have both the jewelry business and I have this. My jewelry business is where this all started. And I can still see myself using that backdrop. Even if my hand is pointed out, I could hold my jewelry up to it. I mean, I could do all kinds of things with the right lighting. You've got to get creative. She's dropping gems here. She's giving you the lighting. She's giving you the backdrop. What else you got in your
one of the other things is
editing apps that you want to tell us about?
Sure. So one of the things that I love, I'm going to stick with the lighting for a minute. One other thing I want to tell you guys about the lighting too is my husband jokes that whenever we go on a trip, a vacation or whatever, as soon as I walk into the hotel room, I can tell him in 5 minutes what a live setup looks like. I can make a live anywhere I go. I can create it anywhere I go. And so you have to start training yourself to understand your lighting and your angles. You guys, we got to stop doing these videos where it's under your nose, it's under your chin, it's down here. And the reason why some of us do that is because we think, my friend, that makes me look slimming, that makes me look flattering. But you know what it does? Here's the thing. Especially, I want to lean into those folks who are speakers, consultants, and coaches. Here's why your angles are important. When you have these angles under your nose, down your chin, all this stuff like that, instead of having it straight on, like how I have my camera position here, it speaks to your credibility. Think about when you watch your local news. They don't do all those crazy angles. They have one shot where you can see the person who's anchoring, or a 2-shot where it's both of them on camera, or a side angle. They're not doing all these crazy angles. Why? Because it speaks to your credibility. So when you start doing all these crazy angles, and I know we talk about angles to get people's attention in our TikTok videos, but I'm speaking specifically about live videos where you're coming to speak on your expertise and as an authority. As an expert, do not have this under your nose. You need to have the camera straight on so people can see you directly. You can speak directly to them. And it also looks like you're having a conversation straight on with them.
That eye contact. Right, is that what we're doing?
Correct.
Right there?
Correct.
And if anybody just joined or you've got to leave, you got to hop off, I want you to know that we're going to download this. I'm going to make it available in my Facebook group. I'm sure, before we get to the end of this, we're going to talk about where you can find Ro online and connect with her. Because we want you to be able to, I'm trying to take notes in my mind while I'm going through this. And thankfully I can get to watch this again because I am starting a YouTube channel, and I don't have a setup. See, I come from the product world. Okay. I come from the product world, and I come from public speaking where, before COVID, this whole virtual thing wasn't my thing. I get me in front of an audience and let's do this. I got you in 30 seconds and I got you for the next hour and a half. But, lighting and all that great stuff, I'm learning so much from you today. This is stuff that you watch 10 YouTube videos just to get 3 of the nuggets that you just dropped right now. So I want y'all to understand.
I'm so glad.
And how valuable this is for everyone on here. Don't think, we're not talking about products specifically, or we're not talking about service-based specifically. We're talking about all of y'all, because at some point on these platforms, because we are small business owners, we have to show up for our brand. We have to show up for our product, because people want to see the people behind the brand. They are not buying from you just because you're a small business. They want to connect with you. They want to connect.
Can I speak to something that you just said there?
I digress.
Yes. I want to speak to something that you just said there that I love that you said. You talked about you came from the product world. Well, my friend, that's such a blessing. And I cannot wait to see how you show up on YouTube. And one of the things I immediately thought of when you said that is when I'm talking to people, especially in the network marketing space or direct sales or people who sell products, one of the things that I tell them all the time is treat your video or your live video like QVC, home shopping. Now, when you go to home shopping, what do they do? What do they do? So I'm going to do a demonstration, and I just did this because my book, CEO of Live Video, is here. So I'm just going to do a demonstration.
I'm so glad you did.
It's my book.
Do it.
Okay. So this is my book. So if this was QVC, this is how I would do it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to QVC. So glad that you are here. Listen, we have a dynamic segment for you today. And for all of you who are in the live stream space or video space and you want to know, how do you do this? We have a book that's dubbed as the tutorial for doing live video. Hi, everybody. I'm Rashonda Pratt, known online as the Rose Show Live, video visibility coach and producer. And I'm so glad to be with you today to talk to you about CEO of live video. You can get this right now on Amazon or anywhere where major book retailers are sold. One of the great things about this book is not only is it going to take you step by step on how to do a live video, how to connect, engage, and offer, CEO, it's also going to have tools and resources that you can do in the back here to help you signify or really solidify the information that you just learned. You see, you have to understand, I'm taking a pause here. You have to understand that QVC is show and tell. And that's what we're doing on live video. And if you have a product, you better stop telling and you better start showing. It needs to be show and tell. Show and tell. So that's just an example that I want to show you when it comes to folks who are in the product space. Show and tell. That's what they do on QVC.
I got to add something to that really quickly.
Yes.
You brought up such an amazing point about show and sell. So on my expressions bracelets, which is my product-based business, I've done only 3 lives. The first live I did, and it was just here recently. Most people think, oh, she would be fine doing this live for this product-based business because she does a million lives on her other platform. But I wasn't. I was nervous. I was completely nervous. Wow. I was like, is anyone going to show up? Am I going to be able to keep them engaged? Because, see, I'm not giving out information about this stuff that I know for the past 10 years, like blood, sweat, and tears. I can tell you how to run a business in my sleep. But selling it live is different. So I showed up. I said, you're doing this. I mean, for 5 minutes before it started, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. And this is literally a month ago, okay? A month ago.
Wow.
Somebody who has been on this platform for SaRatta Speaks and has hundreds of videos. A month ago, I was like, I'm not doing it. I did it. And when I kept looking up at the numbers because, we start looking at the numbers. Are people coming in? Are they coming in? This is not going to be a success. I kept trying to doubt myself. But in the first 30 minutes, the women that were on there, I started engaging them. At no point during that first live viewers. At no point. There were, I think at the end of the video, it said maybe 268 views or something. And I'm used to showing up over here where at the end of that live, it's like, 600, 700, 2,000.
Yeah.
That night, I sat and watched as sale after sale came in with the code that I gave them, because I sat there and I engaged those 15 people. I showed them the product. I showed them how amazing it was. Stainless steel, lightweight. I styled the jewelry. I did the whole 9. Within that 45 minutes to an hour live, by the next morning, we had made over $600 just from that 45 minutes. Now, I showed up the second time. The second time, I went off script. I got caught up in them tapping the screen. And at every 1,000, I gave away a bracelet or something, right? By the end of the night, we had well over 20,000 likes, tons of people on the live, but I had focused so much on them tapping into like, I wasn't showing and selling. That live, we probably made less than And so my husband called, he was out of town, and I said, I'm really disappointed. My live didn't go well. He said, well, tell me about it. And at the end of our conversation, he says, I told him, I said, I know what I did wrong. I showed up, but I didn't show them the value of what it was I was trying to get them to get on board with. I didn't connect with them in that way. I got caught up in the likes over here. I got caught up in the vanity part. And he said, well, you know what you did to fix next time? Try it again. Try it again a couple nights ago. And again, great success, because I showed up, I showed them the product, and I stayed engaged with what we were doing, which was what? Talking about this jewelry, talking about how to style it. So when you get on live, my whole point in that and what she said, don't get so caught up in other things outside of what your main goal is. But I'm sure you're going to speak to this too. You have to know what it is that you're selling. You have to know what it is that you come to sell, and the benefits and why do those people need it? Why do we need this visibility coach? She already knows. She just sold you this book that I'm going to buy. So hands down, love what you said. Love what you said. I love it. Love what you said. Let's see. Do you feel like you should do it both ways? Go ahead.
I was going to say, Jackie Gonzalez is a former QVC host, and she said it is show and tell, sell. Show, tell, sell. She said that is right. That's the formula. And she said you cannot worry about the numbers. You must make a connection. I think that's so powerful. Let me talk about the numbers for a second. We can't be driven by the numbers. I love the fact that you said, I came in here and I served those 15 people. Here's the thing that I did first out the gate. I said, I'm going to show up. And for the first couple of times I did video, it was 0. Then one person came on there, and I said, okay, I'm going to serve that person like it's 1,000. Because what I knew, here's the trick, guys, and I'm telling you, this is going to set some of y'all free. When you serve that one person like it's 100, you know what happens? They go and tell other people. You're talking about, how do I grow my engagement? How do I get more people involved? And there's a bunch of other ways you can grow engagement. I talk about it in the book. But one of the greatest ways you can grow engagement is when you have that one person there, you treat them like it's Chick-fil-A. You treat them like, it's my pleasure that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. You serve them well. And you know what happens? They're like, man, I love coming to her live videos. And they tag other people. They bring more people with them. That's how you grow engagement, is you treat the people who show up. This is why we can't be sitting here on live video when it first starts saying, yeah, guys, got something important I'm going to share with you, but I'm going to wait for a couple more people to join before I get started here. You just alienated all the people who showed up on time. You just told them that they weren't worthy of getting started. And you just also told them, like, wait, what are you waiting on? Get started. People will watch it in the replay. And my thing is, your favorite show doesn't wait for you. Vanna is not on Wheel of Fortune saying, man, boy, Jackie Gonzalez is not here. We can't spin these letters. We got to wait for Jackie to show up. No, they're like, Jackie will catch it in the replay.
Right? You know what?
We just got to get started.
That is so important, because many of you that were here earlier on, we were having a little technical difficulties, trying to figure things out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just have to start telling them about some things that I already know about video while I'm waiting for my co-host, because those people were here. And I love that you hit on that point. Just serve those people that are in the room. I want to read you some of these comments, and we'll hop back into a couple more questions. Some of these comments that are coming in, I don't think you can see them on your side. If y'all got questions for Ro, go ahead and start dropping them in, because I want to look down and get those. The healing journey is hard. We talked about that earlier. Let's see. I love when women come together to uplift one another. I love that. That's crazy. I hate the sound of my voice too. It's crazy the things we others don't even see that. They don't see that. They see you right here. They're loving the hair. They're loving the glasses. I mean, we have our own conversation. Her and I actually, I think you said something in one of my videos where we're talking about the shaved head and how you show up as a Christian. I digress. We'll have on expression phrases for that one. But the people that want to be there don't even care. I worked a little live. Hello, beautiful ladies. That was Connie. This is so encouraging. Come on, upgrade. They were talking about the upgrade when we were talking about how you went from one to the next. I'd love to know where you place your ring light so you don't get rings on your glasses. Didn't you speak on that in one of your videos?
I did, and I have an extensive YouTube video on Visibility is Power TV over on YouTube. Visibility is Power TV. So here's how you don't get the rings in your glasses, because that could be a distraction for you, and it could also be a distraction for those who are watching your video. So one of the things that you want to do, one of the sure, easiest ways to do it, right, is take the ring light and you raise it above the rim of your glasses. That's where my ring light is. I have a ring light right here in front of me. Watch. See? When I lift my head all the way up here, you can see it, right? But what I did was I took my ring light. I knew I was going to have these glasses on, and I raised it above here. And that way you still get the great lighting on you, but it's right there above your rim.
Wow, I love that. Someone else says, yes, Costco sells them too. I'm not sure we were talking about. Wow, I need to change my lights. My lighting is too harsh. Vinyl photography backdrops. They were just reiterating what you were saying. On down, let's see here. Yes, I sell clothing and the fabric is good. So they were saying, yes, they were on board with that. This is so valuable.
I love it.
Grand Rising Queens. I just love it. Someone says they're taking notes. Let me scroll down just a little bit to see if anyone else had a question.
Thank you, richlife.co. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody who's watching here on the Rose Show live page. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
TikTok is really going to be the new QVC. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yep.
So if no one joins your live cell, should you still speak as if you have viewers? I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to let her go ahead and take that one away.
I agree with you. Yes. Let me tell you, here's the secret. I'm about to drop the other secret here. You're not playing for the people who are joining you live. Now, I know TikTok has some kind of weirdness with its replay. So let's just imagine we're not on TikTok. Let's imagine you are selling on Instagram or you're selling on Facebook, okay? You're not playing for the people who join you live. That doesn't mean we still don't show up for our live people. We're grateful for those who will join us live. But you know what? And I even have a shirt that says this. Replay is Bay. Replay is Bay. It's the replay audience you're playing for. Because think about it. Everybody has stuff going on in their life. They may want to join you live, but they just can't. The kid has a soccer game. They're at work. They got all kinds of stuff going on. So it's really not about the people who join you live. It is, but it isn't. What you're really playing for is the people in the replay audience. So imagine you doing a video and no one shows up live, but you post it for replay and it's just you sitting there, not saying anything, not really engaging. Here's the thing, guys. I mean, I'm going to come down your lane here. This could be tough. But you know what? I believe we can have tough conversation. You talk to yourself anyway. And no one answers you back. I hope you're having good conversations with yourself. I hope you're having positive conversations. But you talk to yourself anyway. I mean, I'm in the car. Rashonda, you need to make a right here. Man, did you remember to take the meat out? I mean, you're talking to yourself anyway. So what if you just planned it? This is why we can't do lives haphazardly. You plan it and you say, I'm just going to engage and I'm going to pretend I'm talking to my BFF. That was another mind shift that I did. That when I first started doing live video, I pretended that I talked to people that I love, That's why I love this camera and it loves me. And I don't treat it like an enemy because on this camera, I pretend I'm talking to Jacoby, my husband, my friend Tamra, my other friend Renee, right? Talking to some of you who are very supportive of me. That's why I love it, because it's not an enemy, because all my friends are here, right? So what if you
I love
envision that,
that.
and then when people come in the replay, my friend, they get a great experience and it doesn't feel awkward.
I
Thank
love
you,
that. And I
Jackie.
love the fact that, that replay you were talking about, I think people don't think about the repurposability of all of this content. Having that
Yes.
replay in and on itself, you can edit it, you can chop it, you can move it around, you can drop it in your newsletter, you can do all sorts of
Yep.
things with it. So that's good about that. Someone else said, I love your
Mm-hmm.
hair color, royalty. That's for you, my friend.
Thank you.
What cities do you
Appreciate it.
ladies live in? She said, what cities do you ladies live in? I am in McKinney, Texas, Dallas, Texas, for, those that are familiar with the little suburbs. How about yourself?
I'm in Columbia, South Carolina, home to the national championship women's female Gamecocks. Go Cox! We just won. We just beat UConn. So I'm excited.
Someone else said, so happy I stumbled upon you guys. I've been struggling to go live.
Oh,
Someone said, always speak if you have an audience. The majority will come back during replays.
facts.
Speak to the camera as if you're talking to the person you love, to share and talk to your BFF. Oh, she just said that as you were saying. So I love this. I love this.
Yep.
So this is
Like my
amazing.
BFF just joined. Tamara Brown just joined. See, I just mentioned you,
Oh
Tam. Good to see you. She just joined. I talk on camera like I'm talking to Tamara Brown. That's
my God.
how
And look
I
at her. She
look
showed
comfortable.
up.
And she showed up.
um, do you have any apps that you like to use for editing? Because a lot of times people feel like, I've got to go and get the most expensive software or this or that. What are your favorite apps to edit your TikTok videos specifically?
Sure. So I like to use, so I have an iPhone and somehow I became team iPhone. So I like to use iMovie to edit, but I also like InShot. InShot is really great. And I actually played for the upgrade for that because especially those TikToks where you're trying to get the photos to sync with the music and you're just like, okay, I'm doing this in the TikTok app and it's not working, it's off sync. It's really great in InShot. It is amazing some of the things that you can do in that platform when it comes to syncing your videos and that kind of thing. So that's my favorite editing app to use. And I want to talk really briefly. You said something about repurposing content. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hear me. Please repurpose this stuff. They didn't see it the first time. Dr. Miles Monroe said something. He said that people have to engage with content or listen to a sermon at least 7 times before they really hear what was said. 7 times. So you're sitting here thinking about, oh, I did this live video. They heard it once. It's okay. No, they haven't. So take those videos, chop it up, use it in different places. I mean, you talked about my friend putting in a newsletter, doing this, doing that. All of those things work. So don't look at that and think I'm just a one and done thing. I mean, stuff that you talked about 3 years ago that's still relevant. If it's an evergreen, meaning that you didn't date it and it's still, it's still usable, it still applies, put it back out there on the social streets because they didn't hear it the first time. I did that and a video blew up. I said, you know how old this video is? And people are engaging with it like it's new. And we know that works because think about the algorithm here on TikTok that you could do a video 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, and it's still circulating back out there. So really have a repurpose plan for your content, please.
I love that. And I'm going to speak a little bit more on that too. I'm the former QVC host that mentioned, oh, hey, that's Jackie Gonzalez there. We need to have her over on Expressions Braces so she can edit whether or not we're doing well with our selling. Someone else said off top. So pleasure to meet you. Someone said off topic. Where do you get your glasses from?
That's a good question. So here's the thing. I'm going to be totally transparent. And if you know me, you know I'm just going to keep it real. So I used to mention this company, but we are in kind of a brand negotiation right now. So I don't want to mention them again
That
until
makes
they pay for me to say their name. I'm just being honest. I hope that
totally
didn't leave a
understand.
bad taste.
No. And you know what? No, I respect that. And let me tell you why I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that actually segues into the next part. When I first started gaining traction on TikTok, brands
Yeah.
started reaching out. And they were
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, do a TikTok for this product. Do a TikTok for this. And
Yeah.
at first, I mean, I'm no influencer. I come from the product-based world. I come as a motivational speaker. I didn't know anything
Mm-hmm.
about the influencer world. And I was like, well, let me create, I like this product. Let me create it and let me give them the video.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to realize, wait a minute, that 15-second video took me an hour on top of
Yeah.
having to come up with the creative for it, on top of having to come up with the
Right.
script for it. So wait a minute, this next one that comes in, because I wasn't even reaching out to brands, I'm going to hit them back
Right.
with some rate. I'm going to hit
Mm-hmm.
them back because time is money. And
Correct.
so now when someone hops in my inbox, I already have my rates ready to go. I don't need
Mm-hmm.
your product. You
Right.
need my audience. So let's come to an agreement on that. So talk about how to monetize your voice, because that's one of the things that you speak on as
Yeah.
well.
It's so I think one of the things is we have to understand from the very beginning what our value is and our value portfolio. When I started this online space and like you, when I started to gain traction, I was so wowed by the fact that brands wanted me. They want to work with me, little old me. And we got to change our mindset about being little old me. I mean, you're called to be the city set on a hill. A city's not little. It's nothing little about a city. So I had to really change my mindset because what I realized was because I had this mindset of, oh, they want me. They had all the chips, all the cards, and they could dictate. And so they're willing to either not pay me, give me this whole commission based thing, or just say, oh, you'll get exposure. Well, I already have exposure. That's why you contacted me. So I started to really, before I say yes to anything, I really started to ask myself questions like, okay, does this align with my mission? Does this align with the work that I want to do? Is this a product that I really use and want to? My friends will tell you, I'm a firm believer. I don't give recommendations for anything until I tried it first. Until I've done it. That's not me holding out. That's me saying, I want to make sure that it works before I tell you to do it, right? So everything I've told you today, it's stuff that I've done and continue to do, right? So going through that process, but then also looking at my value and saying, no, you want me for a reason. And if you want me for a reason, you got to pay to play. This is what it is. If you want me to create this content, this is what it is. And so right now we're in a back and forth, right? And they're holding out and I'm holding out too. I mean, I have over 30 pairs of glasses here. It's not like I'm in a
Listen,
deficit. I mean, I could change them out. So it's not like I'm in a deficit, but I'm also not desperate.
mm-hmm,
See, there's the key
mm-hmm,
word. I'm not desperate for money because all of us have learned all money is not good money. I'm not
mm-hmm,
desperate for quote exposure. I've grown every platform I've had organically. And like I said, I've been on the Today Show. I've been on the Tamron Hall Show, CBS The Talk. I've been on TV stations across the country. I've done, statewide commercials, radio commercials. That's not me bragging. That's just me saying I've understood my value and I'm continuing
mm-hmm.
to grow in my value. And because I know that, I am not allowing anybody to disvalue me.
I
So this is what it is.
love that. I love that. And
Mm-hmm.
that actually is the same for these people on here today that are product-based businesses. Don't let people undercut you, meaning you know the value of your
Mm-hmm.
product. You know that you spent X amount of dollars to even create this. Why would you only
That's
mark it
right.
up by 10 or 20%?
Correct.
You're not going to make any money from it. And you know what else they're not factoring in? You're not factoring in the fact that you've got to market this product. You have to pay the overhead for this product. So
Mm-hmm.
just like you do the same thing with yourself, your personal brand, your brand that is attached to you, do the same thing with your products and price accordingly. And I know what someone may not know your worth and add tax. Amen. Someone may not, maybe in the room
Yeah.
right now thinking to themselves as a service provider, how do I determine what I'm worth? And I have my thoughts on that, but I want to hear yours. How do you begin to determine what you're worth?
I think you have to go back to those questions of what you did when you decided that, okay, wait a second. It's not just a 15-second video that I can do in 15 seconds. It's the time that goes into this. It's an hour. It's the script that I have to put together. It's the care for detail. It's making sure that this is positioned correctly. It's all of those things, and looking at your time and saying, so if I'm giving an hour of my time to do this, what is an hour of my time worth? What is it worth for me to put you in front of my audience, right? What is that worth? I've worked in television for 20 years and often been surprised what people pay for ad space or commercials. I mean, think about it. People pay, I think it goes, is it 1 million for a 30-second ad for the Super Bowl? It's in the millions. It's not quote cheap. So my thing is, my brand has value. I'm a brand just like Target. Come on, somebody. I know that was tough to hear. Someone's like, wait, what? Yeah, you're just like Target. Here's why I can say that. You may not have the marketing budget that they have. You may not have all the staff and support that they have, but you are a brand just like Target. You know how I know? Because you have other brands trying to reach out to you. You're growing a community. You have a following, right? So if we understand that we're growing to be a brand like the Targets of the world and the Nikes of the world, that means I have to show up like that. Wow. And I'm not going to let anybody put me in a box. That's the end of it. And you don't get to throw $25 at me and say that's okay. No, we don't get to do that either. Yeah.
And typically the first number that you think of, and this is, I'm sure Ro will agree with this, first number that you think of is probably already too low. Go ahead and double it.
Facts.
Go ahead and double it. Send it on out in the email. What is the worst they can say? No. Or they ghost. That's fine. Keep that. Send it out to the next one. I promise you somebody's going to say yes. Because the first time I sent my number out, I second guessed myself. They came back so quick with the yes. I was like, wait a minute. I probably could have got more for that. And the next one, I doubled it. No lie. I doubled it. And they came back with the yes too.
Let's look at what Jackie's like helping co-produce this live. I love you, Jackie. Jackie says in 2022, advertisers had to pay an average of $6.5 million to air 30 seconds. Let me tell you something. People have money for what they want to have money for. And you know how I learned that? Working in television news, when they would tell us stuff like, oh, we don't have a budget to give you a Christmas bonus, but you guys just bought another TV station. We don't have money to do X, Y, and Z, but you guys just renovated the studio. People have money for what they want to have money for. Thank you, Jackie, for sharing.
And yes, and she's so, I love her. She is in here just boosting us up. She said, you two are stars. Listen, we feed off of your energy, and I want to stop and appreciate each and every one of you that are in here with us, that are commenting, and I can't see all of them, but trust and believe, I appreciate it. She appreciates it, and this is what keeps us inspired to keep going. So I definitely love that. And let's see, know you're worth the ads. Okay, preach. Yeah, that's so amazing. Lost the thought that I was going to get to, but that is okay because we've got plenty to keep going. I want you to tell them about some of your resources that you have you have to help women be visible in their brand. I want to talk about some of your resources that you have.
Sure. So if you are a person who's looking to get into live video, again, you can check out CEO of Live Video. It really is a step-by-step on how to do live video. It's maybe 50 pages. It's short intentionally because it gets right to the meat, right to the things that I've learned doing live video 6-7 years ago and that I still use today. So you can get it on Amazon or anywhere where major book retailers are sold. If you're a person who says, man, I'm already good on the live video piece, but man, I really got to step into my visibility. I really got to elevate how I'm seen, heard, and paid. Then we have a new book that came out in December called Visibility is Power. Visibility is Power. Discover the power of being seen and heard. And you can get that at major book retailers online as well. And then also, check out our YouTube channel. I'm so excited. We launched a YouTube channel almost a year ago in May. And this whole channel is dedicated to all things visibility. So it's Visibility is Power TV on YouTube. You can check it out. And of course, I have a link in my bio where we have a freebie, 50 ways you could be seen, heard, and paid. Because a lot of times when we think of visibility, we think, oh, it's just social media. But there's so many different ways that you can tap into being seen. So make sure to connect with me, The Rose Show Live.
I love it. And you see her at down right there. It says The Rose Show Live. Make sure you are following this phenomenal lady. I am so thrilled that you decided to hop on this live with me.
Same.
It was food for me. I learned a lot, and I'll be watching this over and taking my little notes. Any last tips you want to give the audience about being visible? Anything that you want to share as a wrap up?
Sure. Someone just asked, what's the YouTube channel name? It's Visibility is Power TV. Visibility is Power TV on YouTube. The last thing I want you guys to know. Sure,
I
go
hate
ahead,
to
friend.
interrupt you. I want to, and I hope you can apologize for that. I wanted to get this young lady's question in.
Sure,
Any advice
yes,
on
please.
dealing, because I think it's good. It's good. Any advice with dealing on imposter syndrome? Wanting to develop communication skills with no judgment.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with
That's
imposter
a big
syndrome?
one. You know what's so funny about imposter syndrome? I was just dealing with it yesterday. I was doing a podcast for a client, and I was in the bathroom doing a wardrobe change, and I was like, get out of your head. I said, girl, what's your problem? I had to have a talk with myself. I said, girl, what is going on here? You've done this podcast. You know what's going on. And I was feeling a little bit like imposter syndrome because I had to interview a senator. And I was like, oh, okay, wait a second. Like, what is happening here, right? And I realized that imposter syndrome has a tendency to come no matter what level you're on. I think you always have to deal with the challenge of imposter syndrome. So one of the things that you have to do with imposter syndrome is you have to talk back to it. You can't let it continue playing in your mind. I believe in the power of speaking up, and you have to speak to it. You have to cast down those imaginations and those things that try to exalt itself. So you have to speak against it, and you have to remind yourself of what's true. So you have to remind yourself of your receipts. So one of the things that I did immediately, I said, Rashonda, you've done this before. You have spoken on the Today Show to Martha Stewart. I started going down the list of the things that I have done, that way the imposter starts to shrink, and then it disappears, because what it's trying to tell you is that you can't do this, that you have no experience, but you do, or else you wouldn't be already in it doing it. So I think one of the things is learning how to speak back to it and reminding yourself of what's true. And look at this. Jackie Gonzalez. Look what she says. Imposter syndrome never leaves you. I still have it after 35 years in broadcasting.
That is true. It doesn't leave you. It doesn't. I deal with it myself all the time.
And so you have to put some things in place. And then the other thing is, I'm a big fan of reading. I believe that readers are learners and earners. So I'm always surrounded by books. In fact, this is a book that I've been slowly reading through, Brené Brown, The Gift of Imperfection. I'm slowly reading through this. The other thing that I've been studying this year is Enneagrams. I've been studying about my personality, so that way I can learn more about myself. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So those are some of the things that will help with tackling imposter.
Wow. Like I said, I've learned so many things today. The book you just mentioned, I mean, one of my favorites. She's one of my favorites. Hands down.
I love it.
So yes. I mean, I truly believe if we listen to that inner voice, a lot of times we want to shut it down. We want to say, oh, that's not going to work, or, oh, I don't know how this is going to work. And my inner voice was like, I think your audience would appreciate her on your live. And I'm so thankful I followed through with that. I've learned so much myself. What are your wrap-up thoughts? What's your message that you want to leave with the audience as we wrap up today?
Yeah, what we're all growing here, what we're all doing here in this space, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a coach, a consultant, a speaker, what we're doing in this space is we're building our own media channel. I talked about selling like QVC. That's what we're doing here in this space. Social media has become the new place where we all have an opportunity to build our own media empire. The smartphone is now the new remote control. And so I want you to think about that when it comes to creating your content. Think about the fact that if you always wanted to have your own talk show, now you can. If you always wanted to have your own radio program, now you can. I want you to think about what we're doing here is we're creating our own network, our own CNN, MSNBC, ABC. And when we understand that, you take on a greater responsibility in understanding the kind of guest that you bring on your live videos, the kind of content that you put on there, because you realize what I'm helping to do is I'm helping to put more information, education, edutainment, entertainment out there in the world. And there's a certain level of responsibility for that. Visibility is power, but that power comes with a great deal of responsibility.
Yes. Yes, yes. Oh my God, you wrapped that up so beautifully. Make sure you guys are following the Rose Show Live. All of her information is going to be in her links in bio. If you haven't tapped that follow over here on SaRatta Speaks, make sure you do that. I'm going to download this live and place it in my Facebook group. I'm sure she's going to have that live somewhere in her information as well. Thank you, ladies, for joining. Thank you so much, Ro. I'm so honored to have you today. And looks like we don't have any other questions, so I think it's good to go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate your time, and I can't wait to connect with you again.
You're welcome. This was so great, my friend. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and space to share. Let's do it again real soon.
Absolutely. Ladies, y'all have a good night. Thank you.
You too.